I suck at sports. When I was 12 years old, my parents signed me up for a kids training camp for football. The round one, not the fake one. This was 2 years after they'd caught me replaying 2010 World Cup highlights on YouTube over and over again. I mean, what can I say? The vibes were simply immaculate. From Kanan's waving flag to Shakira's Waka Waka, paired with unforgettable scenes like Suarez handling the ball to send them to semis, the Jabulani giving us stinkers one game, then worldies the next, England's shocking implosion, world champions Italy finishing last in this group. And who could forget vuvuzelas?
That is the most annoying sound in the world.
I fell in love with this game, and this was it. This was my chance. My only chance of going pro. In hindsight, it was just a bunch of spoiled kids being taken advantage of by professional coaches. And I guess it was a mix of not being good enough and not wanting to spend more money for sessions that I eventually stopped 2 months later. I'm obviously still very thankful to my parents for giving me that opportunity, but to this day, I can't help but wonder what life could have been if I hadn't quit, if I had just stuck to it. That's when I found the Medalist. Medalist follows two main characters who are vastly different in age. Tsukasa is 26 and has always aspired to become a competitive figure skater, but since he started way too late at 14, he never realized his one true dream, eventually ending up in a coaching role. His student is our other main character. Inori is 11, and much like Tsukasa, she started skating later than most kids should at 5 years old. This leads her to doubt her own skills, on top of her mom being too overly protective. That she believes Inori is too old, she might get injured, get her heart broken if she doesn't make it, and that it's too much for her to handle. My mom probably thought similar things when it came to me playing football, but the key difference between someone like me and Inori is that I make way more money than her. We can go band for band, she has no chance.
Stupid, I'm not gonna let you get the chance.
That, and it only takes one person. Someone who really believes in you. Someone who will push you to your limits even when you can't find it in yourself. And that someone is Tsukasa. Okay, fine, you win! Tsukasa sees Inori's potential, and after witnessing her passion for the sport, it reminded him of his own struggles and subsequent failure trying to go pro. For Tsukasa, if it means having to save a kid from experiencing that same heartbreak, he will gladly take that opportunity. That's when he decides to help her achieve her dream of becoming an Olympic skater. Now imagine a world where Inori is actually an ultra-talented badass who's brimming with confidence and has the mouth of a sailor. Turns out you don't have to, because we got Amelia the level 0 hero. 10 years ago, after waking up alone in a mysterious abyss, Amelia's life was pretty simple. Kill or die. Spoiler alert, she doesn't die. Instead, she fought tooth and nail against the most grotesque, nightmarish void spawns you can imagine, with a fucking rock. And I guess Amelia farmed so hard that the abyss ran out of voids, leading her to spawn in another world. At this point, all she wants is to live a normal life. And just like she did before, she will one-shot anything that gets in her way. There's just one problem. She's forced to be a hero. It's interesting how in a genre as saturated as overpowered isekai, they still find a way to keep it refreshing. Instead of accepting the role of being the hero in a video game system, Amelia actively declines to take part simply because she's been there, done that. Honestly, very base and realistic. Another thing that caught my attention was the immersiveness in the paneling. In this fight, she slices the bad guy, and the panel splits into two and rattles like a real in-game death. If any of that interests you, check out Amelia the level 0 hero on Webtoon. I have it linked in the description, and thanks to them for sponsoring this video. If you're wondering why, out of all the sports anime, I'm recommending a figure skating one, well, it's either this or Sorairo's Utility. As someone who knows nothing about figure skating, two things stood out to me about this anime. One is that it's pretty to look at, and two, it's relatable as fuck. Let's talk about the latter first, because what makes Medalist so appealing is that even the drunkest of muscle-headed bonobos can empathize with it. Football fans. Both this time. I'm sure everyone has gone through a phase in their life where they wanted to chase their dreams and be someone. Watching Medalist reminds me of that childlike passion, the drive to do everything you can to make things work no matter how tough the challenge is. Inori is a shy and anxious kid. When she wanted to bring up the possibility of figure skating to her mom, she got immediately turned down and told to finish her homework. In school, Inori frequently gets left out of group activities, told to go kick some rocks simply because she isn't smart enough and wouldn't be able to do it anyways. I don't know about you, this would kill me as a child. Feeling isolated from the rest of the world, her only place of solace is figure skating. So she pours all her effort and energy into it, watching and studying every piece of competitive footage she can find, jotting down notes on her book to identify which areas to improve, literally digging up worms from the ground to give to the old receptionist at the ice rink to feed his birds because he felt bad she didn't have enough money to skate. And yet, despite everything stacked against this poor 11-year-old kid, she still finds it in herself to prove to her mom she can become a competitive figure skater. Who wouldn't be moved by that? Sports are essentially a contest of who can gaslight themselves the hardest. Assuming that everyone is at the same skill level, which in the highest tiers of competition they will be, the only thing that separates a good player from a great one is their mentality. So yes, their ego.
Right here. Shoot it, egoist. Egoista.
Just think of the top 2 football players of our generation, Ronaldo and Messi. Ronaldo didn't get to 900 goals chasing 1,000 because he cried about missing a couple, and Messi didn't get 8 Ballon d'Ors because he cried about losing the World Cup. He won the World Cup precisely because of that. Yes, he did retire for 2 months after losing the Copa America in 2016, but we don't talk about that. Sure, it burns at the moment, but the second you walk away, you are leaving behind precious fuel to stoke an even bigger fire. The best don't trip and fall and stay down, they pick themselves up and go again. I'm starting to sound like a fake motivational guru. Inori has all the excuses in the world to quit. She started too late, she's too old, she's not good enough, she's ugly, she got weird ass hair, her forehead's too big, and all the bitch ass moms be doing bitch ass mom things like gossiping way too loud. But none of the rules said she couldn't compete and try her best. None of you know this because I'm extremely embarrassed about it, but I used to run track in middle school. Yep, I was 15. I trained for the 4, 8, and 1500 meter as a middle distance runner, purely for academic reasons, and not because I wanted to become the next Usain Bolt or David Rudisha. Or I show speed. I shall explain. The reason I joined was because athletes got an automatic A+ on their report card for PE and got to skip mandatory PE class. And out of all the track meets I competed in, Jesus, I finished second last in the 400, I tripped and finished middle of the pack for 800, and walked the remaining 50 meters of the 1500 because I was immensely undertrained and had so much lactic acid buildup that I physically could not run anymore. To this day, I have not stepped on a rubber track since my last meet. I am that humiliated. Almost 200k subs though, 2 bands richer than an 11-year-old, 3 inches longer than your mom. Suck on that, bitch. I think my very stupid and long-winded point is that I never had the personal drive or passion for running. Neither did I have someone around to kick my ass and light a fire under it. Inori has both, and while she deserves a lot of credit, Tsukasa is just as vital to her success. When I was in the track team, we had 3 coaches and about 30 other kids training for wildly different events like shot put, long jump, and hurdles. Safe to say, I wasn't given any direct attention from my coaches. And I don't blame him. Inori has the privilege of receiving one-to-one coaching from Tsukasa. And I won't spoil anything, but Tsukasa was in the exact same situation as Inori. So he knows more than anyone how tough it is and how many hurdles it takes to go pro. As a result, he's able to give her more specific, targeted advice to help her improve. And in the world of sports, that's about as crucial as having the right gear to compete. And again, I won't spoil what happens, but seeing her compete for the very first time brought literal tears to my eyes. Obviously, I wouldn't be this emotional if the anime looked like shit. Studio Engi are the people behind this show, and they're responsible for making a lot of questionable looking anime I've never watched, which is even more impressive when you witness the stunning work they did on the skating performances. Yes, this anime has CGI, please don't be regarded. This is hands down one of the best uses of CGI I have ever seen in anime. I am not joking. The way they're able to zoom so closely to Inori during the performance makes it as if we're right inside the rink with her. The camera work is perfect, not only tracking her movements to show us the subtle intricacies of her hands, because remember, figure skating training isn't all fancy spins and jumps, it's the fluidity of your body and limbs as well that makes it so elegant to watch. No one wants to see a stiff board on ice, but also having the awareness of knowing when to scope out to show us the full technique, it's done so flawlessly. And that's only talking about the animation aspect. On an adaptation level, Studio Engi has knocked it right out of the park. Manga as a medium is limited in the sense that it's purely a visual spectacle, but with anime, you get the full works. Pairing the already unbelievable visuals with a beautiful soundtrack, and you've got a nearly 3-minute sequence that rivals any real-life figure skating performance. Just look at how this girl dun-duns the ice on time with a beat, or the way she spins and the ice below her is getting skimmed and shaved. It feels like you're actually there. You're not watching the audience, you are the audience. I've made a lot of videos on a number of anime, but rarely have I ever felt a strong urge, almost to the point of forcing you guys to watch something. The last time I felt this way was when I watched Orb, and before that it was Dungeon Meshi, and before that was Heavenly Delusion. Medalist as an anime has reached those ranks. It's not the best sports anime ever made, it has pacing issues, particularly in the first 2 episodes, but trust me when I say the payoff is well worth it. Check it out for yourself and let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching as always, see you soon.